Unit 4 of Skills. Our learning targets for today: I can read words with a different spelling for the O sound. I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story, The Diner. And let's start today's lesson by reviewing the spellings of what we have already learned for the O sound. So let's look back at what we've learned and use our spelling trees to review. We have learned 3 different ways to spell the sound O. Now look at your tree given as an example. We have the O with the open syllable, O-E, and O consonant E. Remember that multisyllable words, the letter O is pronounced O when it comes at the end of a syllable. So if that syllable ends with O, it's going to make that O say its name. Let's practice a few of these words. Open, solar, oval, over. So those words, your syllable ends with O, your first syllables end with O, so it makes that O say its name. It's going to make that O sound. Remember that multisyllable words with the letter O can also be pronounced with the ah sound. So if you look at these words like comic, your syllable break is after your M. So since your syllable break is not right there with your O, it's going to make that short O sound ah. So let's read these words together. Comic, model, rotten. Let's look back at our tree. Look at the multisyllable words. So most of the time the O is used as a spelling for O. It is used in multisyllable words. However, there are a few one-syllable words with the O sound spelled with the letter O. So there's always some of those that are exceptions. For example, the word cold. The letter O is followed by a consonant. You might be thinking that this word should be sounded out as k, ah, l, d. Since the word cod sounds like k, ah, d. In words ending with the spelling old, the O is read as O instead of ah. Let's practice reading some of these words. So when you see that word ending in old, remember it's going to say O instead of ah. Cold, hold, fold. Read these with me. Gold, bold, mold. Sold, old. There are other groups of one-syllable words in which the letter O also represents the O sound. So sometimes those O's, if it's not that open syllable, there's still other times where that O will not say the short O sound, it will make the O sound, the long O. Okay, now look at the similarities of these. Do you see a pattern? These end in O-L-L. So O-L-D and O-L-L, your O is going to say the long O sound, O. Let's read these words. Roll, toll, stroll. Your O-L-T is also going to say O instead of ah. So old, ol, and these are your olt sounds. So let's read these words. Colt, bolt, jolt. Also, your O-S-T is going to make the O sound instead of your ah, your short O. Most, post, host. Okay, now you need to pause the video and you're going to look for activity page 8.1. It's page 33 in your packet. You're going to complete the activity practicing the old, O-L-D, O-L-L, old, and O-L-T sounds. So these spellings. When you complete this, you're going to choose the correct word, and this time you have two choices. So you're going to choose the correct word that would go in the blank. Make sure you're using those long O's for those old, ol, and olt spellings. Now we are going to read the story titled The Diner. Now again, you can look on your Clever and look through Amplify in the library, find Skills Unit 4, the book The Job Hunt. So if you use your table of contents and locate The Diner, you can listen to this on Amplify as well. Now think about some things that you've read so far about Kim. Can you name the different places that Kim has visited so far to look for a summer job? Kim visited Dwight's Lights, the gym, and the corner market. Now this week we have read the stories about her going to the gym and going to the corner market to look for a job. Today's story is called The Diner. Now do you know what a diner is? A diner is a type of restaurant. So if you look at these pictures, it's kind of giving you some examples of foods that you would eat at a diner. So it's kind of a little less formal than a restaurant. So it's not like it's a little bit more laid back. It's kind of an open feel. And you can see how they're sitting like at the bar where they're actually cooking the food. Like this may be sort of like if you've ever been to a breakfast place where they're cooking food there in front of you, like a Waffle House. It's a diner, so it's a type of restaurant. Now, like I said, you can look in the table of contents on Amplify and find The Job Hunt. Here you can find the story The Diner, use the table of contents, and you can listen to it on Amplify as well. Before we start, let's preview the spellings that we're going to see in our story. You've got your IGH, which is going to say I. You've got your I consonant E, which will also say I. Then you've got your I as an open syllable. So here again, we're going to make that I sound. So let's read these words. High, sight, midnight, quite, diner. Now let's preview some vocabulary before we read. We talked a little bit about a diner, sort of a restaurant. A waitress. A waitress is someone who serves your food. A woman who works at a restaurant, taking food orders and bringing the food to customers. So a man who works at a restaurant would be called a waiter, and a female would be called a waitress. Now AM, we talked about that in math last week with our clocks. AM is the abbreviation ante-meridiem, and it stands for time starting at midnight until 12:59 the next morning. So it's like the 12 o'clock when you're asleep, so that midnight, to 12 o'clock when we eat lunch, which is midday. Some other vocabulary that you will see. Booths. A booth is, it's not a table. It's like those, you can see they're sitting in booths here. A booth is a table in a restaurant with two long seats, so the seats are a little different. And then you've got the counter. They're eating up there at the counter at a diner, a flat surface where people pay for their food at restaurants. So you can see they even have seating on the counter. Now the saying that you're going to hear, there's a few sayings that you may hear in the diner. One is quite a sight. That means that something's very interesting to see. You may hear older people say this. Oh, that's quite a sight. Let's grab it. If you're going into a diner and you see a seat open, you may say, let's grab it. Let's sit here. If you say so, he's kind of shrugging his shoulders. That basically means, well, if you say so, it must be true. So we're going to talk about some of those phrases. You're going to hear them in the diner. So kind of think about how you would use them in normal talk. The next place Kim went to look for a job was a diner. "I'll just drop off my name and number, and then we can go to the next place," she said. "No, no," said Kurt. "I don't think you should do that." "Why not?" said Kim. "You would not like to take a job in a diner without tasting the food to find out if it's good, right?" I think you would like to test the food at the diner, Mr. Gelato. Kurt nodded. They went in. The place was packed. All the booths were taken. There were people sitting on most of the stools. A waitress passed by with a huge tray piled high with dishes. It was quite a sight. "There's a spot at the counter over there," said Kim. "Let's grab it." Now think about what Kim means when she says, "I'll just drop my name and number." What is she meaning by that? She's meaning like at the corner market, she's just going to leave a card with her name and number because, so far we've had, it's just bad timing. Now when they talk about the place being packed, what does it mean by the place being packed? That means there's people like in every seat almost. So this would be kind of a little different than what you'd see today, right? With all the things that are going on with our pandemic. So it's packed. There's people everywhere. Kurt and Kim waited. After 5 minutes, a waitress came by. "Hi," said Kim. "I would like to ask if you are hiring." "I would like to ask if milkshakes here are good," said Kurt. "You won't find a better milkshake in all of Brooklyn," said the waitress. "Would you like to try one?" Kurt nodded. He ordered a hot dog, fries, and a milkshake. "I'll just have coffee and pancakes," said Kim. "Okay," said the waitress. "I'll check with the boss to see if she's hiring." Or to see if he's hiring. "Did you just order pancakes for lunch?" Kurt asked. Kim nodded. "That seems odd," said Kurt. "No, it's not," said Kim. "You can get pancakes all day long in a diner." "If you say so," said Kurt. "So what kind of jobs do they have in a diner?" Kurt asked. "They have the waiters and waitresses. They take orders and bring food," Kim explained. "There are people back in the kitchen too. There's a cook and someone to clean the dishes." The boss came over. "So you would like a summer job?" he asked Kim. "Yes." "Can you cook?" he asked. "I need a cook in the morning, and I need someone to clean dishes at night." "I'm not going to lie," Kim told the man. "I'm not the best cook, but I don't mind cleaning dishes." "Well, to clean dishes you would stay until midnight, or 1 a.m. sometimes." "That's a little late for me," said Kim. "That might not be the best job for me. But thank you for the time." "Thank you too," said the boss. Now what were some different jobs that were mentioned at a diner? There's a waiter, there's a waitress, there's a cook, someone to clean the dishes. And Kim was offered a job, so this is not bad timing. They needed someone to clean the dishes. But why did Kim not take the job? Kim was going to have to stay really late at night. Midnight is when you're asleep. 1 a.m. is when it changes from midnight to morning, basically. So it's like the middle of the night when it changes to morning. So that's really late for a younger kid to kind of work a part-time job. So Kim's probably going to wait on something else that she could do that's not so late at night. Now for homework tonight, you're going to complete workbook page 8.3 and 8.4. Now this is the story that we read Monday titled The Gym. Now on this story, you're going to read the gym, you're going to reread it, and then you're going to answer questions about the gym. Now be sure when you answer your questions on page 39 that you are answering them in a complete sentence. So like in number 1, the question is, what is a gym? So when you find the answer in the passage, you're going to start your sentence off with, the gym is, and then you're going to define what a gym is. So make sure that you're putting these in a complete sentence with a capital letter and a period at the end. Okay, so let's review our learning targets. I can read words with different spellings for the O sound. And I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story, The Diner. Have a great day.